Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRIENDS and Washington, Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now. Let's dive into this potential game changer that's been swirling around NFL circles lately. We're talking about a major trade rumor involving none other than Patrick Surtain, the elite cornerback from the Denver Broncos. I know it sounds like something straight out of the fantasy football universe, but the whispers are growing louder, and some credible sources are suggesting that the Washington Commanders could be eyeing Surtain as their next big defensive piece. It's not just idle chatter either. There's real speculation that a trade might be on the table, and it could reshape the NFC East's defensive landscape for years to come. So what's the scoop? Well, the Broncos, currently sitting at a solid 9-2 record, have some financial flexibility and are reportedly open to trading Surtain. The idea behind this move is to free up cap space, about $15 million, so they can go after extensions for Bo Nix, their quarterback of the future, and bolster their offensive line. Denver has been pretty aggressive in managing their cap, especially with their focus on maintaining a top-tier defense. They're also eyeing some upgrades on offense, but the core of their roster remains their defense, which has been pretty solid this season, allowing just 5 points per game and showing an elite level of secondary play, especially with Surtain shadowing the best receivers on the opposing teams. On the other side, the Commanders are a team desperately seeking secondary help. Coming off a tough 3-8 season so far, their secondary has been banged up and underperforming, allowing an average of 220 passing yards per game. Adding Surtain could be a major boost, not just in terms of raw talent, but also in confidence and leadership. He's a shutdown corner, a true shadow CB who can match up one-on-one with the best receivers and make life miserable for opposing quarterbacks. His career stats are impressive: 254 tackles, 51 pass deflections, 11 interceptions, and 2 defensive touchdowns, all backed by a solid PFF grade of 82. 3. What makes Surtain particularly valuable is his ability to reduce the target percentage against him, allowing only about 55% of passes thrown his way to be completed, and he's capable of making game-changing plays, including forcing turnovers and shutting down key receivers. In terms of recent performance, Surtain's numbers have dipped a bit in 2025. He's played 11 games, with 21 solo tackles and a PFF overall grade of 68. 6, which is below his usual standards but still respectable given the injuries and team circumstances. His coverage grade of 66. 1 shows room for growth, but his ability to clamp down on top receivers remains unquestioned. Plus, he's a proven playmaker, projected to potentially produce around 6 more interceptions if he joins the Commanders, which could be the boost that this secondary desperately needs. Currently, the Commanders' secondary is allowing a high 26. 9 points per game, and with Surtain's addition, that number could drop significantly, making them much more competitive in a division where every game counts. Now, why would the Broncos consider trading Surtain? Well, Denver's defense is still among the league's best, but they're facing some tough decisions about their future cap management, especially with their need to resign key offensive players and build around their young quarterback, Bo Nix. Trading Surtain would free up a hefty chunk of cap space and bring in a valuable second-round pick for the 2026 draft, which could be used to bolster their roster further. There's also the factor of depth. Denver has Riley Moss emerging as a promising young corner, and while Surtain is a proven star, the Broncos might be willing to part ways if they believe Moss can step up and fill that void long-term. Still, some skeptics argue that losing Surtain could hurt their secondary's overall depth and leave them more vulnerable to explosive offenses, especially in a league where passing games are becoming more explosive every year. For the Commanders, acquiring Surtain would be a major coup. His presence would instantly upgrade their secondary from a liability to a strength. Imagine a backfield with Surtain shadowing the opponent's best receiver, combined with the likes of Kendall Fuller and Emmanuel Forbes. That's a secondary that could match up with the best in the league, especially in a division that has some of the most talented wide receivers in the NFL. Think about how Surtain's ability to limit big plays could help the defense generate more turnovers and field position advantages, which have been sorely lacking for Washington this season. From a strategic standpoint, this move could be a turning point for the Commanders. They've been trying to build a more aggressive, turnover-focused defense, and adding Surtain could be the key to unlocking that potential. His ability to reduce completion percentages, combined with his playmaking skills, would give the team a much-needed edge. It's not just about stopping the pass. Surtain's presence can alter the entire defensive scheme, forcing quarterbacks to think twice before targeting his side of the field. This could lead to more sacks, more forced throws, and ultimately more turnovers, something the Commanders have struggled with this year. Of course, the trade wouldn't come without risks. The Broncos might be hesitant to let go of a cornerstone like Surtain unless the offer is compelling. The price tag, a second-round pick in 2026, seems reasonable given Surtain's talent, but teams often want more for a player of his caliber. There's also the question of fit. Would Surtain adapt quickly to Washington's defensive scheme? Given his talent and experience, most believe he would, and his leadership could help elevate the entire secondary. Plus, with the NFC East being one of the most competitive divisions in the league, having an elite corner like Surtain could give Washington a significant advantage in divisional matchups, especially against high-powered offenses like the Eagles and Cowboys. Now, let's take a moment to consider the bigger picture. The NFL is a league of moves and countermoves, and the Commanders have been quietly positioning themselves for a potential push in the coming years. With Sam Howell at quarterback, they've shown flashes of promise, and increasing their defensive stability could be the missing piece for a playoff run. Adding a player like Surtain isn't just about immediate upgrade. It's about setting a foundation for sustained success. His coverage skills, combined with the team's emerging talent, could make Washington a nightmare for opposing offenses in the NFC for seasons to come. Looking at the broader context, the NFC East is arguably the most competitive division in football right now. The Eagles are reigning champions, the Cowboys have one of the league's best defenses, and the Giants are building around young talent. For Washington, making a bold move to acquire Surtain could be the difference-maker that puts them over the top, especially if it helps contain the division's offensive firepower. It's a strategic gamble, but one that could pay off significantly, making the Commanders a more formidable and balanced team. As we await more concrete news, the buzz continues to grow, and fans are buzzing about the possibility of seeing Surtain don the burgundy and gold. It's not just a rumor. It's a potential game-changer that could reshape the NFC East landscape. The Commanders have been building through the draft, developing young talent, and now maybe it's time to make a splash with a veteran star who can elevate the secondary to elite status. That's the kind of move that could define a franchise's trajectory for years to come. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential Surtain trade? Do you think it's a move that would put Washington over the edge and help them contend in the NFC? Or do you believe the price is too high and the risk isn't worth it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to know what you think. Your opinion truly matters to us and to the team. And remember, I'll be back very soon with more updates, rumors, and analysis, so stay tuned for all the latest Washington Commanders news. Together, we're building a community that's passionate, informed, and ready to support our team through thick and thin. Let's keep the faith, keep the hope alive, and keep pushing forward. The future is bright, and with moves like this, maybe the Commanders are just getting started on their journey back to greatness.